The agenda for this session is firstly we will see how we can use these Microsoft Teams and Power Platform both together. Then we will go into the deeper level of each of the component of my Power Platform, and then we will see how it fits perfect into the Microsoft Teams. So we'll start with Power BI, then we will go into the Power Apps, Power Automate, and all those things. Again, one more thing is that now that we have Dataverse for Teams, which is a new thing, I know it is not that new because we have been using it over a month now. But again, we will have to. We will be like to walk you through this Dataverse for Teams, how you can use that Dataverse for Teams for developing your application. And again, we have a one cool demo wherein previously we created one application solely using Power Platform, and now that we have transformed that particular application into Dataverse for Teams and hosting that on top of Microsoft Teams. But again, they are using the same powers of Power Platform in the background. All right, so with that agenda, a quick introduction of myself. Nanddeep Nachan. I'm Microsoft MVP as well as CSharpCorner MVP, Microsoft certified trainer, author of couple of books on SharePoint framework as well as SharePoint hybrid. And onto the right hand side, here are few social handles to get in touch with me. And with me today is Smita.
Smita, I think you're not audible. Nandip, are you there?
Hi, I'm audible now.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for it. Yeah. So I'm Smita Nachan and I'm from Pune, India. I'm having 12 plus years of experience in SharePoint and Office 65. I'm a Microsoft MVP for Office Development category. Apart from that, I'm MCT also. I'm author of one book for SharePoint Hybrid, and these are some of my social handlers by which you can just get in touch with me. So now let's see how Microsoft Teams and Power Platform works together and empower everyone to perform their activities. We want you to think of a single hub from where we will able to integrate our business applications together. Mostly we use Power Apps for this purpose. So Power Apps help us to build mobile and web applications with the data our organization already uses. So, secondly, we want to design the process flow automations. So, here we can use Power Automate to create the workflows between our apps, files, and data to automate time consuming tasks. So, thirdly, we should be able to create the reports and get the insights. So, Power BI help us here to create those actionable, dynamic, and engaging data dashboards, which can we can share with our colleagues also. So, once we have everything with us, we have a power of Microsoft Teams by which we are able to collaborate with our colleagues. And when we have all of these things together in a single hub, which is Microsoft Teams, from where we are able to take the benefits of Power Platform within a Microsoft Teams. So let's say quickly what is a Power Platform. So Power Platform is a low code platform wherein we will able to create the reports using a Power BI to the application development using a Power Apps. So to perform this process automation using a Power Automate and build intelligent virtual agents as a bot using a Power Virtual Agent. So these are the main four components of Microsoft Power Platform. It also offers a few valuable features like data connectors with which we are able to connect to various data sources across Office 65 and beyond. Then we have a power of AI builder which adds AI capabilities to our Power Apps application to build intelligence applications. And then we have a Dataverse which was previously known as common data service by which we will able to get the data from the various systems. So now let's see how we can add the Power BI reports to Microsoft Teams. So this is how the Power BI tab for Microsoft Teams look like. So we have this Power BI report which is right now fitting inside a Microsoft team. So let's see like how we can use that. So adding a Power BI report to Microsoft Teams where people collaborate helps data driven decisions making become part of your routine. Then the tab is added to your channels and chats. It's easier for everyone to find and track the data they need to achieve their objectives. It also a great way to manage change in your organization. As new people join a team, the data they need is right there and ready for them to use. So let's dive and look at the demo. So for that purpose, I'm here in my teams, and now from here we will add the Power BI app. So for that purpose, either you can go it from the apps or from here you can just add a tab. So I've just clicked and now I am going to add a Power BI. Yeah. So once you select that Power BI, it is giving over here below the option post to your channel about this tab. So if you don't want to post, then you can just uncheck it. Then over here, you can just define the tab name. So whatever the tab name you would like to add. Then the second option is select a Power BI report that will show up in this Teams tab. So you can just select your existing reports available from your workspaces. It will list out all your workspaces and available reports with it. Then the second option is from the apps, and the third option is shared with me. So reports which are already shared with me. So I will let go ahead and I will select one of my workspace where I have already this sales and returns sample form. So before adding that, in the bottom there is a one message that make sure this team tab has given to this access to this report in the Power BI. So once you clicked over here on this Power BI link, you will able to see the more details about it. So I will not go into that. You can just check it later, and I will just click on the save button. So once we click on the save button, it will add this tab over here. And now you can see if you clicked, here are the different tabs which is showing your Power BI report. So now let's see some more details about it. So over here you can see one conversation icon. So the conversation icon expands the tab conversation, and this makes it easier to ask questions of your team and share the insights you find. So everyone in the channels sees the discussion and can offer their thoughts like we should. Yes. Then the next team is on the same line, we have a globe icon. So the globe icon opens the report directly in a Power BI, and this allows you to do more with your data. So like you can export to PowerPoint or PDF, print, you can analyze in Excel and many more things. Then we have the option of this full screen button. So this full screen button does what you would think. It hides the channels list, giving you more room to work with your reports. Then the fourth thing is we have this refresh button. So the refresh buttons reloads the tab, but it does not refresh the data in your report. You need to go to the Power BI to do that. So you don't have to get confused over here. So let's keep it in mind. The refresh button is only to reload the tab, and if you want to refresh your data, so you have to go to the Power BI for it. Yeah. And then we have this menu over here, and once you click on the menu you will find some of the handy features that help you to copy a deep link to the tab you created and send it to your colleagues in other channels, chats, or even in an email, so they know you added a tab and can find it quickly. Now let me go back to my slide. Yeah. So some short history about it from where it started. So let's see from where it exactly started. So in month of July 2020, Microsoft announced something called as DataFlex. And this DataFlex gives us the flexibility by which we will able to create our apps, flows, Power Virtual Agents right within a Microsoft Teams. So Dataflex gave us those flexibility. Then just within a month during the window of late of July or early August 2020, Microsoft renamed this Dataflex to Project Ogdel. The underlying concept remains the same, but now that we have this Project Ogdel, and then by ending of November 2020, Microsoft renamed Project Ogdel to something called as Dataverse for Teams. So, whenever we talk about Dataverse for Teams, there are two things or there are two terminologies you will mostly come across. So, the first one is the Dataverse, and second one is the Dataverse for Teams. So while we were working with this Power Platform, we used something called as Common Data Service, and which is now renamed to Dataverse, and the flexibility which was offered by Dataflex. So Project Ogdel, by which we will able to create all of our apps right within a Microsoft Teams, is now renamed to Dataverse for Teams. So this is the minor difference, but you will have to keep it in mind that Dataverse versus Dataverse for Teams. So now let's see this Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. So Microsoft Dataverse for Teams delivers a built-in low-code data platform for Microsoft Teams. It provides relational data storage, rich data types, enterprise-grade governance, and one-click solution deployment. So Dataverse for Teams enables everyone to easily build and deploy apps. So the benefits for Dataverse are they are support to build low code and no code apps, flows and chatbot for or within teams. So the core data capabilities from the same platform behind the Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamic 365. Its storage rich data types with enterprise capabilities and one-click solution deployment, a new visual editor that make it even easier to define and populate table data, enterprise security that's easy to use and align with the approach used in teams. So the inclusion in most existing teams licenses, also the storage of 2 GB per team and support for up to 1 million rows. It supports up to 500 teams. So now let's see some Dataverse for Teams environment. So Dataverse for Teams environment is automatically created for the selected team when you create an app or bot in Teams for the first time or install a Power Apps app from the app catalog for the first time. The Dataverse for Teams environment is used to store, manage, and share team specific data, apps, and flows. Each team can have one environment, and all data, apps, bots, and flows created with the Power Apps app inside a team are available from the team's Dataverse for Teams database.
Okay, so now that we have a basic understanding of Dataverse as well as Dataverse for Teams, next thing is that what we are going to do is we are going to see how we can integrate the Power Apps as well as Power Virtual Agents along with Microsoft Teams. Before I move to that part, I just want to quickly show you the app which I built previously. So even to the prior release of this Dataverse for Team. So this is the app that I have, which was solely created on Power Apps portal. This one is a Canvas app for the leave management kind of a system. So this uses SharePoint as a background or as a backend for storing the data. But again, SharePoint is something which we should not be used for some kind of an relational databases. So there it lacks a bit. But again, we can still go ahead. We can create the Power Apps by utilizing the SharePoint as the database for us. Okay, so this is the calendar list I have, and in that calendar list, I'm storing all of the details about the leaves and their approvals and all those things. So once I click on plus, it will go ahead and create a new item wherein we can add the details about the leave which we want to do, and then it can take up my manager from the AD, and it can go for the approval. And once it is approved, we will see a green smiling face, or if it is not approved, in that case maybe a crying face. So all those kind of a thing we used to develop with the Power Apps. But now that we with the introduction of Dataverse for Team, we have revamped this entire solution so that right within the context of Teams, we'll be able to build this entirely, so that now we don't have to separately create these apps inside Power Apps as well as a Power Automate for the approval, and even as well as maybe using any kind of an Power BI report, or maybe using any kind of an Power Virtual Agent. But we can do all those functionalities right within Microsoft Teams using Dataverse for Teams. So with that, let's see like how we can build and deploy these apps inside Microsoft Teams. So for that, what I will do is probably I will close down this, and then I will again move back to Microsoft Teams. So in the Microsoft Teams, from the left rail that we have, where we can host our personal apps, I'll just click on more, and from here I will choose to add Power Apps. So once I add that Power Apps, you will be seeing that being placed onto the left navigation. So what I will do is I will right click on it and pin this, because we will need this app throughout our demo. One more thing is, once you do that, from here you can just click create an app, and this will start the app creation process for you. Again, for example, if you had created the apps before, the first window that we get is the Canvas app, and wherein we can place the controls. But when it comes to Dataverse for Teams, first option that we get is we should select the team, and then for that particular team, the Dataverse environment will get created, and it will be used to host all of these apps, as well as the bots or the flows that we will do. So what happens is that, for example, let's say I select this particular team, which is life and music. So once I click create, it will create an app for my team, which is life and music, and in the background it will create one environment for me. So in this example, I already have it. But for example, if I select another one, let's say emergency response in this case, and if I click create, it will take some time, and then it will create the environment in the background here. And all of the apps, flows, bots, or whatever the apps that we create for this particular uh, functionality will get stored into these environments. So just to save the time, I will not create this, because the creation of that environment also takes 2 to 3 minutes. So probably I will save that for my demo. So once you do that, again from here you can click new app, and from here you will be able to do that. But what I will do is I will go directly to the see more, and from here we'll be able to see all of the apps that we have. So this is the environment that we have. So the first environment is live and music, and then the other environment is project Ogdale demo, which is the demo environment which we will use throughout this particular demonstration. And if you compare that with the Power Platform Admin Center, these are the two environments that we have, along with the default environment that we get as a part of Power Platform. Okay, so as you create a new app inside your teams, it will create an environment in the background for that team, right? So with that, let's go ahead, and again, what we can do from here is I will maybe just click see all, and from here we'll be able to create something called as an tables. Or maybe what I will do is let's say I will go back and maybe create the app, so that it will be easier for you to understand. So let it take the time, not an issue. So maybe I will create an app for Busted Minds. I will click create. So what happens in the background is that now that it has started the process of creating the environment. So for example, if I keep refreshing here, it should create that environment very soon. Now that you see that the new environment has been prepared with the name of my team. Okay, so now that we have this new environment created here, and in that particular environment, we will be able to create our apps, as well as we'll be able to host our bots, as well as we'll be able to create the Power Automate flows. So it should not take much time. So let it do. Okay, it is almost done. But only just one thing to know, that there will be an environment in the background which will host all of these apps. Okay, so I think it is done now. So first thing that we are doing here is creating that app. And then this is the familiar window for everyone, like name the app and all those things. So I will just call it as a demo app, because the real app that I'm going to demonstrate is already built. But I just want to show you the capabilities of this, by which we'll be able to create the relational tables and then show the data here. All right, so this is how it will look. And then onto the top ribbon, we have a few controls here for saving this app, as well as preview and then publishing this to the teams. So for example, now if I will go ahead and click preview, so this is some kind of a dummy interface that we get. And once I click new record, it will show nothing, because we don't have anything to be called as in the record now. But this is how it will show. For example, if I keep clicking the records, it should show that data. So this will just give you the preview of how our app will look like. Okay. Next thing that we need, some kind of an background mechanism wherein we can store the data, and that comes with something called as a table, which are again proven for all kind of an um, relational entities that we can have. So I will go ahead, click create table. I will just call it as customer. Okay. There are also advanced settings, like what should be the plural table name. If in case you want to refer that from your Power Automate, it can be written from here. Because most of the time what happens is that we do have a spaces between the tables, but while we are trying to get the information from that table in the background, we don't prefer those spaces, and at least those should be replaced with the underscore, or at least spaces should be removed. So in that cases, we can use this plural table name. So with that, I will just go ahead and create this table. So this table will be something like the table that we keep creating, even for the SQL and everything. So here is the default column that we will get, called as name. So for example, if you have worked with SharePoint, there we get a default column called as a title. Similarly, here we will get the default column called as a name. But again, you can go ahead, you can edit this column and rename to whatever you want. So in this case, we will not rename this. We will just keep it as a name for our customer. And from here, you will be able to add new columns. You can type a name for that particular column. And then once you click type, from here, you'll be able to see all of the type of data that you can store inside this table. So here we can add table, sorry, text, email, URL, phone, and many kind of data. Again, we do have a advanced option based on what kind of an type we are selecting. We'll be able to set those configurations. So if it is a number, then minimum and maximum value. For example, if it is a date, then we don't have anything. But for example, if it is text, then what should be the maximum length and all those things. Okay. So maybe here I will just say the address for the customer, and then we will add this. Again, if you want, you can go ahead and create something called as choice. So here I will say city, and in the choices, maybe I will keep adding a few city names which I know. So maybe Pune and Mumbai, and then I will just click create, and this is the table that we will have now. Okay, and again, we can show or hide certain columns when it will come to the tables. For example, if you want to show who has created this particular entry, then even you can turn on this created on, or even when it was modified and all those things. So with that, I will just keep it very simple for the first table creation, and I will close. So as I close this, in the background, it should create that particular table, and then we will be able to map that particular table to here. Again, one more thing which I want to show to you, that let's say for example, I will again go back to this build, and then we will click see all here. Okay. Okay, maybe let me go back to the build again. I will select the previous team, that the previous team that we have, which we just created, and this is the customer table that we have here. And from here we have see all kind of a thing. So if you come to this particular wizard or this particular window, here you will get some more options. So all that means we'll be able to see all of the apps that we have as a part of Dataverse for Teams. And then again, these are specifically the Power Apps app that we will create, or even the Power Virtual Agent chatbots that we will create, or even here the cloud apps, that means all of the Power Automate flows that we will create. And then again, we have a separate space here for tables. So the customer table that we created is here. Again, from here, what we can do is even from here we'll be able to create a new table as well as new environment variable which can be shared across all of the apps and flows. So let's say from here we will create one more table, and we will call it as a orders table. So there will be kind of a relationship between these two tables, customer and his orders. So once I click create, here you will be able to see the relationships. But before I go to that, I just want to pay some more attention onto this columns section. So I just created one table. Nothing fancy was there. Only name should have been there. But if you see, we have various columns here, including the created by, name, orders, and many more. So at least these are not the columns that we have created. So what happens is that we do have a view here called as default, which will show you all of the columns. Even this all view will show you all of the columns. And then we have two specific views here. First one is managed. So managed, that means all of the managed columns which are being used in the backend for Dataverse for Teams. And then we have a custom, that means it will show you all of the columns that you have customly created. So just in case, if you want to keep this view very clean and just want to concentrate on to the your business specific columns, you can select this particular view called as custom, and from here you can keep adding the column types to this particular table. So again, here we can add maybe order ID and other things. But the major thing that what we can do from here is the relationships, by which we'll be able to define the relationship between two tables. So now that we have these two tables called as customer and orders, and from this add a relationship, we'll be able to define that relationship. So in this case, it could be many to one, one to many, or many to many, based on how what kind of a relationship we want to define. So one customer can have many orders, or even many customer can have many order, or many orders can be only satisfied by one customer. So I will choose this many to one, so that many orders can be select, or can be used by just one customer. Okay. So even using this, we'll be able to define all those kind of an relationships. Then what happens is, for example, now that if I again go back to this app, so from here we'll be able to use that entire table of information into our app, so that we'll be able to use all these columns, even all of the relationship that we have inside those tables over here. And then again from here we can just click add data. Probably I will just select customers, and then it will add all that particular data to here. And then we'll be able to use that particular data inside this particular app. So from here, maybe if I can even click edit data, so that I will be able to use that data. Let's say for example, customer one, um, address one, and then a city, maybe Pune, and I will just close this. Okay, so it will save the table. And then what will happen is that once I click here, I will be able to drag drop this table here, and then we'll be able to use this entire table. Or from here you can just click connect to data, and then from this connect to data, you will be able to select this data, and then it can be used as a data for your environment. Okay. But just to keep it very simple, what I will do is I will again go back to the app which I have already created, so which was this leave management app. So let me go there and open up that. So for example, if I can go back to this project Oakdale demo, and click see all. So from here we'll be able to see all of the information about all of the apps and everything that we have. So here I will go to the apps, and then we have this leave management app. So this leave management app has the similar interface to the one which we saw, which was created on top of SharePoint, but this one is now created on top of Dataverse, or CDS. Okay, so there we can define the relationship between those two tables. So again, here we do have two tables called as a leave request and the approvals. Before I go into the table, probably I can just show you the quick preview of how it looks. So this is the simple interface that we will have, wherein we can name, for example, if I click new record, we can name our leave, maybe a sick leave or any kind of a leave which we want to apply for, and then we can select the department to which we belong to, the leave type, and then start date and end date for that leave. Again, these three fields that we have here, leave reference number, approval status, and approval comments, those are non-editable fields, because those will be handled in the background from the approver. Okay, so we won't be able to add any data here, but at least what we can do is we can add the data to this particular request. So let's say, for example, I will go ahead and I will just say power platform leave. Okay, I know there is no leave as such, but I will again select the department as R&D, maybe the annual leave as the leave type. Start date, from here we can pick maybe 12 to 13, and then I will just click on save. So what it will do is it will create that record into the table. So from here you will be able to see that record. So this is the information that has been created, and then what we see here is this leave reference number, which is LR-0011. Okay, so I will show you how this number gets generated, but this is how the look and feel of all of the leave requests that goes as a part of Power App. Okay, so what I will do is I will close this down and then probably again go back to the build and show you the tables that we have. So again, if I go to the see all here, and if I go to the table specifically, so here we do have two tables. First one is for leave request, wherein we will store all of the information specific to our leave. So that will include the department, start date, end date, the leave type, leave reference number, status, and the comments. Again, since I have selected this custom view, I'm just concentrating onto the fields or these columns that we will need. Otherwise, for example, if I go for all, we have too many columns, and then it will be cumbersome to search for our own columns. So if you just want to concentrate on your business specific columns, select this view custom, and then from here you will be able to just concentrate on those part. So just a quick overview of this particular table. So here we have approval status, which is of choice column, which is approved, pending, or rejected. And then we have these approver comments, which will come from the approver. So which one is a text area in this case? Then we have a department, which is a lookup, and then this lookup is onto this particular table, which I will show you in a moment. And then we have this end date and start date with date only kind of an data type. This leave reference number is something new, which is auto number. So that means to each of the number that gets generated into the system, we are identifying that with some kind of an auto number. And then we have this leave type of choice and name, which is our out of box field. So for example, if I open up this leave reference number, from here you will be able to see that to each of the leave reference number that gets generated, I'm prefixing that with LR, that means leave request, and then the minimum number of digits I'm expecting is 4, and then the seed value, that means at what interval the next record value should get generated is the seed value. So I'm just keeping it to 1, so that the next number that we will get is LR 0012 13 14 and so on. So this is how we can use this auto number, because what happens is that whenever a leave has been requested into the system or submitted into the system, we should be able to uniquely identify that system, because again, we are going to use this as a reference for our bot. So I will show you that in a moment, but at least this will just set a background when I will explain the bot. The second table that we have is approvers table, which is a very simple table wherein we just have name of the approver. So again, this one is the name field, but I just have renamed this to approver. And then we have this department. So in the approver, we have email of the approver for that particular department. And for example, if you want to see the data, I will just click on edit data. So we have department including R&D, marketing, HR, and finance, and these are the list of approvals. So in previous um, demo, or at least in the previous screen, when I created the leave request, it was for R&D departments. So that means it will go for the approval of this admin user. Based on the department that you choose, it will go to the approval of that particular uh, department admin. Okay, so this is the table structure that we have. Then I just have explained this app, like how this app works. So probably again I will go back here, and then from here we'll be able to see that. So when we will run this particular application, what will happen is that it will show all of the data from those tables that we have in the background, to which this app is connected to. And then whenever we will add any of the new records, those will be stored into the rows of that particular table. Okay, so again, if you want, I will just again click this preview, and from here we are able to see all that information. Okay, so this was simple, but maybe let's go into some more aspect of how we can extend this particular system for some more advanced features. Okay, so next thing is like how then we can integrate this Power Automate with Microsoft Teams. So Power Automate are mostly used for automating all of your business processes. And since this is a leave management process, or leave management system, the obvious use case for us is the approval process. So when the leave will be created in the system, it should go to the approval, and then based on what approver says, the result will be reflected onto your app again. Okay, so for that, what I can do is, again, I will go back to this build, and then I will again click on see all. um, this is kind of a very simple window from where you will be able to concentrate on the specific part you want to build upon. So for example, if you want to build the apps, then you can come to this and just create the app. If in case you want to create the cloud flows or the Power Automate flows, you can come to this particular section and do that. So again, in order to create new cloud flows, we can just click on new, and then again from here we'll be able to create cloud flows. And again, we have got those three options of automated, instant, as well as the scheduled. So what I did in this particular flow is, I already have this flow created for leave approval process, wherein what we are doing is, as and when there will be a leave submitted into the system, that means whenever the entry that gets created into the table. Okay, for that, let me click on edit, and from here we'll be able to see that. So whenever that particular record gets created into a table called as leave request table, so in the change type, we have various things that can happen onto a particular table. It includes create, create or delete, delete, update, and other things. So for example, if you compare that with SharePoint, it is if the item is created, updated, or deleted. So similarly, we have this one for records, which are specific for our tables. So I will select this particular table. I will select the change type as created. That means I want to hook to the event wherein a new leave request is submitted or created into the table. Then what I can do is, I can go to the other table where we have approvers table, the list of approvers based on the department what we have selected while submitting the leave. And then from here we can filter those rows, and this is the ID that you can get from the table. So this is the internal name of that table, sorry, that column that you can refer here. So the internal name of that was CR556 underscore approvers ID, which I have. And then if it is equal to the department which is selected by the user while submitting the request, so what will happen is that we will get all of the approvers matching this particular criteria. So in our case, I selected the department as R&D. So what it will do is it will go into the approvers table and get all of the approvers that we have for R&D department. Okay, so this particular activity will just do that. Next thing is that this is just the variable I'm defining, so that for example, if there are multiple approvers, I will club them together into this particular string, and then I will use it while sending the approver email to the approvers. Okay, then I will loop through all those approvers, and then I will take that into this particular string called as where approver email. Okay, and then I'm just updating that particular record with pending, so that we will be able to see that this particular request is pending for approval. Then the major activity that we should start the approval process, and we will assign that to the variable, and this variable will include all of the matching approvers, and this is the title for that, and this is the information that we will present to the approver. Once it is done, we will wait for the approver to take the action on it, and if it is approved, in that case we will update the record with leave request as updated into the table, or if it is rejected, then it is the same way. So for this particular application, I know that I'm the or this admin user is the one who is the approver. So what I will do is probably I will open up the Outlook for this particular user. So let me go ahead and open up the Outlook. So even I see that this particular flow has been triggered when I created that entry during the first demo, and this is the email that we have. So this is the leave request email that we have received, and from here we'll be able to take the action. So I will go ahead and approve this leave, and I will just click on submit. So what it will do is it will take that action, and since I have approved, it will mark that particular record as approved, and even we see the notification here. So again, for example, if I go back to the app and try to see that, it will be approved. So let's say I will go ahead and again click see all, and then if I go to the apps, again click on leave management app. I know that there are too many clicks that we need to do, but at least this build will give you a very straightforward option by which you'll be able to just concentrate on which of the part you want to work with. It is taking some time, but okay. So for example, if I click preview now and go to that specific leave, which is LR0011, here we see all of the leave status which is approved, and these are the comments that we have put in. Okay, I know that this text box is very much slow to sorry, very much low to read for you, but I can read it for you. The leave is approved, and here we have the approval details and when it was approved. So one thing is good, like we are able to do it right within Microsoft Teams. I never opened the Power App portal or Power Automate portal differently, but right within the context of Microsoft Teams, we are able to do that. One catch here is that now that as a user, I always have to come to this particular app and check the status of the leave, because whenever we submit the leave, it is always kind of an exciting moment for us to see whether the leave is approved or not. But again, we cannot wait until leave gets approved, and every time we will have to come to this app and check for the leave status. So what we can do in the next scenario is that we'll try to integrate these Power Virtual Agents with Microsoft Teams. I know that even though all of these Power Automate, Power Apps, they look very much good, but we as a human try to or like to talk much with the bot. So we will create that simple bot which will help us to take the leave request status and present that to the user. So for that particular thing, what I will do is again, I will again go back to this build tab that we have, and again click see all, so that we will get a neat clean view wherein we will be able to create those chatbots. So these chatbots are nothing but the Power Virtual Agents. So from here, you can click New and Chatbot, and you will be able to create a new bot. So I will just open up the bot that I have pre-created. So this bot is very much simple. What it does is it um, it calls the tables that we have in the background, the leave status table or leave table that we have, and then it tries to get the matching records for all of the things. Okay, let me extend this trial. Okay, I should have done that before. All right. So again, these chatbots are based on the topics. So topics are nothing but the intents of the user like what the user want to do with my bot. So inside this, I have created one topic called as leave management topics. So the intention when the user will come to this particular bot are very much simple, that they want to know the leave status. So these are the intention that with which user can come to this particular bot. So for example, leave status, check leave status, what is my leave status, is my leave approved. So these will be the kind of questions the user will have. So these are kind of triggering phases for us by which this bot will get invoked. So what I will do is I will go to this authoring canvas, from where we'll be able to define the flow for this particular bot. So whenever someone hits with that particular triggering phase, our bot will invoke and it will ask the first question like, what is your leave reference number? So in our case, it was LR-0011. Then what we will do is we will get that user response, which is a text box in this case, which is a text in this case, and we will store it into a variable called as var leave reference number. Okay, and then what we will do is we will go ahead and get those values from the leave reference number, and then we have a flow here. I will open up that flow quickly. What that flow does is in the background, it queries the tables that we have, and it tries to get the information about the leave. So this is the triggering point for this particular flow, which is the Power Virtual Agent, which will present this flow with the input as leave reference number that we have. And then we have activity called as list all the records, and again here we are filtering the rows based on the leave reference number which was provided by the user on this leave request table. And then what we do is we just use this body as the compose action, so that we can present that information to the user. And then again we just loop through the status and create that particular body, and then we return that particular information to the bot, so that it will say whether the leave is approved or not. So I will again go back to our authoring flow, and then for example if it gets some kind of a value, it will uh, fall to this particular branch which is onto the right, and it will present that particular information to the user who is the end user of this bot. If in case he doesn't get the value from the bot, in that case we will simply say that sorry, we did not get the matching request, maybe please try again. Okay, so what I will do is I will maybe just try to invoke it from here itself. I will just type leave status. So again the intention should not be the exactly same that we have given to the user, but at least it should be the close matching, because again this Power Virtual Agent uses NLP, natural language processing, when it comes to the processing of those inputs given by the user. So here it is asking me for the leave reference number. I already had it copied down, which is LR0011. I will send that to bot, and then bot can invoke this particular flow, and then it should be able to get that value from the table, and then it is saying that this leave is approved. Okay, so this is how we'll be able to create all of these apps, flows, as well as the bots right within the context of Microsoft Teams. One thing, now that we have done everything, now that how can we get it deployed, right? So maybe for example if I stick to virtual agent again, if I go to authoring canvas, so from here we have this publish. Okay, so from this publish we'll be able to publish this bot. So I will click publish, so that we'll be able to publish the latest content. And then next thing is that probably we can just open this bot, and then we can click on add. So this leave management bot will be added as an app inside my teams. And then from here probably I can pin this, so that whenever I come to this Microsoft Teams, I will be able to directly get the leave status from here itself. Okay, with that again go back to the uh, Power Apps or this Dataverse for Teams, and let's see how we can publish the apps to the teams. Okay, so for that purpose again I will go back to the build, and I will click see all. And from the apps section, I will go to that specific app that we created, which is leave management app. Okay, so this is the app that we had created, and we just tested that into the browser, or at least into this Microsoft Teams creation experience. But we will see like how we can publish this, and then how could be the end user experience for that. So before publishing, you can just click on preview. You can see how it is working. And for example, once you are happy with that, here we do have options to publish to teams. So once you click publish to teams, this will get published to the team to which you have created this. Okay, so now that this is saying that it is published for everyone to the team. So I will click next here, and once I do that, it will present me with the options like to which channel, or uh, yeah, to which channel we want to add that. So I will just click add app as a tab, and then click save and close. Okay, so once I do that, this particular app should get added as a tab to my general channel. So since I was working on this project Oakdale demo, here we see that app as added as the tab, and then from here we'll be able to use that. Probably I will just close down this conversation. So now that this is how it will be seen by the end users of your Microsoft Teams. So this will be the end user experience of this particular app. So from here they will be able to see all of the leaves which are in the system. And again, you can go ahead and just show the leaves which are applied by them only. It can be done. And then again, you can just click new record. From here you will be able to submit the new records, as well as you will be able to edit the existing records. And for example, if you want even you will be able to see the status from here itself. So for the end user, the experience will be something like that. um, the app will be right inside their teams, added as a tab, and from there they will be able to see that app, play around with that app. And again, for example, when they want to look at the leave management, or sorry, leave bot, in that case they can go to this bot and they can see the status. Again, this bot can be added directly inside your teams, and from there it can be invoked. So the summary of this session is that this project Oakdale, or at least this data was for teams, will give you more flexibility by which, right within the context of Microsoft Teams, you will be able to create your apps, your flows, as well as your Power Virtual Agents without leaving the teams, but again, getting the same power of the Power Platform. The If you compare this particular experience with the previous experience, it was like in the previous experience we had to go to the Power Apps portal, create the app there, then again come back to the Power Automate portal, define our flow there, then again maybe come back to the Power Virtual Agent portal, and then do it from there. But with this data for teams, we are doing it right within the team as a native apps. With that, here are few of the resources which will help you to get started your journey with Microsoft Teams, Power Platform, Power Automate, as well as Dataverse for Teams. So these are some good references. And again, for example, if you want to go beyond, then here are some good community references, some good in-depth YouTube videos from Reza Dorani. Again, there are a couple of nice articles by Laura Rogers as well as Faisal Opanen. So I will encourage you to go through these, so that this will give you more clear picture, and you will be able to create few more advanced scenarios for your Teams users. So natively they will be using the Teams, but you will back them by the power of Power Platform, right? So with that, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for attending this session, and thank you C Sharp Corner for giving this opportunity.